Hello, good evening. Good evening. I love this night tonight. I got my daughter tonight, y'all. Can you believe it? I have my daughter Denise tonight here in the tribe and across the board. What's up? Give everybody give her a shout out. I see we got
What's
some
up,
people on
Tribe
already.
Fam?
Now, we've been dealing with physical wellness this month in the tribe. And when I knew it was coming up, I was like, I had already said, okay, I'm going to ask my daughter to do this because she is just so good at what she does. So who else to do this but you? So I'm going to try not to be mama tonight. I'm going to be the founder of Teach Me Tribe, life coach.
From.
So I kind of want to just go on and dig right on in, just dive on in, because I mean, of course, everyone wants to know, and everyone might not know, about you and why you're here and what it is that you've done. So, what has led you to the space of physical wellness?
Well, it started at a young age. I played basketball since I was 11. I grew my passion for fitness my freshman year in high school. We got into the weight room, and I failed every physical test that you could think of that wasn't athleticism. So just everything weight wise. And from there, I was kind of determined to be the best person in that weight room ever since then. And I was just very intrigued by it. So from there, graduated high school, went to college, played basketball after 2 torn ACL, MCL, and meniscus tears in high school playing sports. Um, and I kind of my passion just grew from there. I always wanted to be in the weight room. I always wanted to learn more about it. I was always the one asking questions, wanting to stay longer. And then after I graduated, I pursued strength and conditioning at the college that I graduated from, Shorter University. Also went to Gadsden State, right down in Gadsden, Alabama as a JUCO before I transferred to Shorter, which is a 4-year small D2 in Rome, Georgia. So from there, got into strength and conditioning, realized that it wasn't for me, but it was a great experience. I learned a lot of things being able to work with athletes like myself, and just different areas, walks of life. From there, I also did personal training, online training, pretty much anything you could ever really think of, kind of just dove right in, trying to see what my passion was, what I liked. And in that, I got to work with just a variety of different people from ages, like young adults to senior citizens, all the way up until I think my oldest client was maybe like 80 years old. So I've had quite the experience there. Just being able to work with different people, seeing how they move, the things that they go through, and all that good stuff. So right now, found my passion with group fitness as of February of this year. I get to be on the mic. I get to be loud. I get to be energetic. I get to scream and run around. And I feel like people love that, and I love it. So I hope they enjoy it too. So that's kind of currently what I'm doing right now. I work at 2 gyms in the Birmingham area, and I love it. I couldn't ask for a better situation right now. So yeah.
I tell you, I'm trying not to be mama right now, y'all, because I'm just so proud of my daughter and just her perseverance throughout life. I mean, I think every parent wants their child to be happy, to succeed, and enjoy what it is they're doing. So for Denise to be in a position where she's doing something that she loves every day, it really brings my heart joy. And please, anyone who's on, if you have any questions for Denise, please put it in the chat because she's here to answer whatever questions you have fitness related. As you know, as you see, she has plenty of experience and as a former college athlete and now personal trainer, and she has all the expertise and certifications behind her name to back it up. So please, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat. But in the meantime, I was wondering, because I put some questions together myself, and I have to tell y'all, it is interesting living in the house with a personal trainer. It's a good thing, and it's also a bad thing. because it's a good pressure on you to it's a constant reminder that you need to exercise, you need to eat right. So even if I jump, if I jump off the wagon, she's a physical reminder, Mama, you don't need all them cookies. Who ate all them cookies? She lets me know. So uh but I do have a few questions that I definitely want to dive into. So it's really hard to really be consistent with fitness, with nutrition. So can you share some practical tips for building strength? Because I know you have experience in that area in strength and conditioning, and also maintaining a healthy body just day to day.
Yeah, so what I like to tell my clients or members or just anyone who asks is just start small. Like especially if you've been out of it for a while or you're just now getting back into it or you're just brand new to it. Start small. Go for a daily walk. Wake up in the morning, get a fresh drink of water, 20 ounces. Like that's gonna set the tone for your day before you drink anything else. Because you don't want to be dehydrated. Get your steps in, especially like a lot of 9 to 5ers. You sit at a desk all day. Maybe every hour, every other hour, get up for about 5 to 10 minutes, get some blood flow going, like get the move and get some steps in because we sit all day. So we're not going to get a lot of steps in, which in turn, we're not going to burn a lot of calories. And then I would say build a routine. Like even if you don't know where to start, like seek out help from a professional, someone you know who works out. That way you can get something started, whether it's just like walking into the gym and maybe just walking on the treadmill for like 10 or 20 minutes or however long that you can, just a small amount of time and just grow based off of that. Like you don't have to go hard in the gym, come out sore crawling out of the gym, go through the hardest workout of your life to be like, all right, now I started my fitness journey. Because then that's going to deter you from even wanting to start or continue because you're going to be like, oh, well, I'm lacking the motivation now because, oh, I'm too sore or that was too much or I went too hard right at the gate. So start small with the little things like just like daily habits, like, oh, maybe I'm not going to eat out tonight. Maybe I got some at the house. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like every single time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I moved out the first time, I had heard this voice in my head. It was like, man, I want some McDonald's. Then I heard my mom say, we got McDonald's food at the house. Oh, you ain't got no McDonald's money. And so I'm telling you, you probably got McDonald's money, but can your body really afford it? Like, what's the ROI based off of that? Like your long-term health over what you want right now just because you're hungry. So just like picking out different things like maybe I'm going to eat more vegetables today, or, maybe I'm going to have some fruit other than a cupcake, just like little things, little life changes, because this is a lifestyle. And the consistency part of it is being that every single day. Like it's not going to start from day one, but can I do this today? All right, let me wake up again and try to do it tomorrow. All right, I did it 2 days in a row. All right, can I do it 3 days in a row? And actually keeping track of the days that you were successful. And if you fail, that's okay. Just start back over. So yeah, I would just say start small, and that consistency will come.
I think that's probably the hardest thing that people struggle with. I mean, because we know that this is the holiday season that's coming up, and and how many people are going to binge out doing Thanksgiving and
Yep.
Christmas, and then you have in January all these memberships to the gym, all these new memberships, or people just going to the gym that have probably paid for memberships all year long,
I
and
forgot they had it.
right, they just get deducted from the membership. And I think that's probably I'm glad you said that, just the small steps and just taking day by day to see exactly, okay, what is it that I can do today, starting out small, because I know me. I mean, back in the day, I was trying to go hard first, and then I wasn't able to sustain that,
Mm-hmm.
because it was something I really didn't want to do. um, and I kind of want to, now I have to let everybody know this, that you did 75 hard. And I mean, talk about consistency.
Yeah.
I mean, tell us about that experience. Well, tell us what 75 hard is, and tell us, what was it all about? Because I kind of want to transition into the mental aspect of fitness.
Yeah, so 75 hard is a not only a physical challenge but a mental challenge. And the guy that runs it, he says, you know, if you're in this for the physical, like you might as well dip out right now because it's mostly mental, and it is. It was very testing for me. It tested me on in ways that I didn't even expect to. So what it is um, for 75 days, cold turkey. You wake up every single day, and there's uh, no alcohol. You have to drink a gallon of water. You have to have 2 workouts every single day. One has to be indoor, one has to be outdoor. And it doesn't matter the weather, rain, snow, cold, hot. Um, you also have to have a workout routine that you're going to follow for those 75 days, and then a diet. And you can just choose what diet that you want to use in that 75 days. And the thing is, if you fail, even if it's on day 45 or day 74, you have to start over. So I was really determined not to start over because I did
I'm
not want to start
sure.
where I was going. Because that was about 3 or 4 months of my life, and yeah. So and then plus it was just like that mental thing in the back of your head. Is like, do I really like? Did I come this far to only come this far? You know, a lot of people want to give up, and like you just have to continue to tell yourself like to keep pushing. Like there were days where I did not want to get up. There was days where I could not down a gallon of water. And ever since
That's a
then,
lot.
I've been drinking probably a gallon or more than a gallon of water ever since then. And that was over a year and a half ago. Um, and it taught the mental toughness part about it. I thought I had a lot of mental toughness from playing sports, but I think it really tested me in the times where it got cold outside or it was pouring rain or I didn't want to read my book. Because you also have to read 10 pages of some kind of a self development book. Um, and I didn't necessarily like reading, but then I bought like 6 books after that. But I think the main thing that I really learned was discipline, like doing things that you don't
Wow.
necessarily want to do, when or whether you want to do them, you have to do it anyway, or you need to do it anyway, because the long term investment off of that is like it's just like such a greater gain. Because even though you don't see the results right now, like if you continue to be consistent and do those same things, even if they're little things, later on down the road, you're going to see it. And it's just going to be a greater, bigger impact on you than you even thought it was. Like it was just a snowball effect for me. Like the first, I want to say month, I was like, I'm not seeing any physical changes. Like it's all mental. Like I'm getting beat, like mentally, but I was getting stronger. And then month 2, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is happening. And then month 3, I was like, it just keeps going. Like it just keeps getting better. Like I can't stop. I can't quit. Like I want more. So yeah, it was just it was definitely something, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it was interesting, kind of seeing you go through it, all the highs and lows of it, and then seeing you at this point where you like, I mean, it was like second nature. I mean, you
Yeah.
were really in the routine, and before we knew it, I mean, you had lost how many pounds, but then you had gained so much muscle along the way too.
Yeah, so I lost 5 pounds, but it probably looked like I lost about 10 or 15 just because of how lean I was, because I had
Hmm.
lost so much body fat. And I didn't realize that I could lose that much body fat in an amount of time. But I was down, I think, about 3% of body fat and 5 pounds as well. Um, so yeah, but it looked like a drastic change. But I think the main change was mental rather than physical, because I wasn't really looking for the physical. It was just like a bonus, is what I like to say. The mental aspect are the things that still hold true today, that it's like almost embedded. So that's what I really got out of it.
Wow. Well, we'll definitely go back to continue on the mental aspect of it, but I wanted to get this question in. Someone on Facebook, they said, being a vegetarian, I found having a dietitian, nutritionist is a key part of having a healthy lifestyle. Have you implemented this into your healthy lifestyle of living?
Um, whether as a dietitian, or like have I had a dietitian or a nutritionist, or have I implemented being a vegetarian?
I'm thinking
Um,
that's what they're saying. Um, but Facebook user, if you can confirm that for us, but that's what I'm thinking.
But I'm just gonna piggyback off of what I think they're trying to say is, have I implemented having a dietitian or nutritionist? And the answer to that is no. Um, I haven't really found the need for it. I think a lot of people seek that when they don't really have that information, or they just need extra help because of medical reasonings. I don't have any medical issues, thankfully. And then just based off of research and my experience, I'm able to use that information and figure out what's best for me. And a lot of times it's like trial and error. Like, you have to try out different things to see what's going to work for you, what's not going to work for you. Just find that secret sauce. And I ended up finding that. And that's just pretty much how um, dietitian and nutritionist. Yeah, that's just pretty much how I guess how I operate. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't find the need to have done that. No.
Yeah, and I like what you said when you were talking about how you have to really find what works for you. Because this comment from Crystal, she said that she did 3 days no meat and it helped with her migraines, and
Mm-hmm.
and I think the better you know your body, the better you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And how important it is for us to listen to our body. I remember years ago. I'm trying to remember how old you were, but remember when I said, okay, well, I didn't say this, but I just did it, that I just stopped buying pork and cooking pork. And I want to say you were in middle school at the time, but I did that because it just wasn't agreeing with my body anymore. And so I was like, well, I mean, I have to cook this, so nobody's going to eat it in the house. So we went to turkey, fish, chicken, whatever. And that's been, I don't know how many years, maybe almost 20 years ago. But but I think it's definitely key listening to your body, knowing what it is that you need um, physically, and not necessarily what other people are doing.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
And I would also just always, if you're very unsure, and you're on any kind of medications or anything, like, please seek like your physician, like professional help. That way you know what to do, what not to do, and then you could just go from there. That's really just the best option. That's I always suggest people do that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And you know, it's funny because I think, well, actually, the next question had to do something with nutrition, because I was going to ask, what role does nutrition play in physical wellness, and how can we make better dietary choices for our health and fitness goals? I guess you kind of already touched on that already.
Mhm.
Is it anything else that you wanted to add in regards to that?
Yeah, so nutrition plays a huge role. 80% actually. So 80%
Mm,
of your results is your nutrition. It starts in the kitchen. In the kitchen. That's what I tell everybody. What are you consuming into your body? What are you not consuming into your body that your body actually needs, or that it's lacking? 20% is a physical aspect. So a lot of people, they're like, oh, I got to go do a whole bunch of cardio, got to get this weight off, when they're just putting back in everything that they just burned. So it's like a counter effect of that. Um, I would probably start with cutting out like sugary sodas, drinks, alcohol, um, foods, different fatty acids that you are implementing to your body that you probably don't necessarily need. That's probably causing what they say, inflammation, and it's causing you to not lose body fat, which I know we want to lose weight, but body fat plays a huge role too, because a lot of those fatty acids are stored around our organs, um, and we have to get that out, in order to be healthy. So I would definitely say cut out certain, like sugars. You don't have to cut out so much. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I can't enjoy this meal. I can't go out with my family. Yeah, you can. You can have a balanced lifestyle. You just have to choose what you want to eat and when. Like, I love food more than anybody.
mhm.
Like, my mom would say, I will eat anything, but I also have to be selective in what I eat and the portion size that I eat in. Like, I can enjoy it, I might can have a few bites of it, but I ain't gonna have a whole plate of it. So portion
Right,
sizes
right.
are so important. What I like to tell people is you eat your protein first. So that's like the main thing. So whether that's like fish or chicken or steak. And when I'm talking about steak, a sirloin, because that is the most lean cut of the beef that you're going to have instead of a ribeye, which has the most fat on it. And then a vegetable. So then I go for my protein first because protein is going to fill us up. It's going to trick our body into thinking that we're full while having a glass of water right before that. Then I go to my vegetables, and then I go to the last thing that I might love, and maybe mashed potatoes or something, but I might not have a whole lot of it. By the time I get to my last course, I'm probably a little bit full by then. I don't really want to eat all of it. So portion sizes really do matter. You want your good fat, so your vegetables would be a lot bigger than those other carbs that you have on the other side. So definitely portion sizes for sure. I would suggest. Another thing I would suggest is
well, you heard us right now,
I'm
Denise.
sorry, my bad. Yeah, I
Because
told you I could talk all day. Well,
no, I'm not talking about what you say. I'm talking about the fact that I'm thinking about the dressing that I'm about to eat and the macaroni and cheese
and
and the
I done
sweet
already told you.
potatoes. Oh Lord.
This person said drinks are my problem.
Yeah.
Let me touch on that real quick. So I know I trained this lady and she was like, I have migraines every single day. I don't know why, but the reason was she was drinking a Coke Zero every single day. And she was like, oh, well, I mean, it has 0 calories, it has 0 sugar. Like, I'm good. And I'm like, no. So the thing is, people like Coke and people who push those 0, 0, 0, they want you to believe that's what you're getting, but you're really not
Right.
getting that.
Because I sure believe it.
Because there's something that keeps you drinking it every single day, right?
Right.
Same with alcohol. Like, it may be good, but what's actually in it? I mean, at the end of the day, it's not necessarily healthy, even though we enjoy it. You can have a drink or two here and there, but make sure you're supplementing that with water after staying hydrated. But those are what we call empty calories. So empty calories are essentially calories that we're or insert into our body that could be used, that can't be used as energy. And we can replace that with a healthy snack or food rather than having that drink. So for her, I was like, well, maybe you should eat a protein bar instead, or maybe you should have like a protein shake instead of having that Coke, because you're putting protein in your body, which is going to help you and it's going to give you energy, rather than a soda, which is not. It's just going to kill your migraine for 1 or 2 hours. So that's funny that the person said drinks are a problem. So I just had to say that.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people deal with that. I mean, because and it's so funny because when I get my Coke Zero or my Dr. Pepper Zero sugar, and
You
you be
feel
like,
so good
nah,
about you. So.
I really do. And you be like, nah. I told y'all this is my reminder. Denise is my reminder every day that what I'm seeing and reading out here is not it. So, but she shared a little bit of what I get every day. But I definitely love it. So, and we talked about, or kind of say you kind of hit on having a balance and needing a
Mhm.
balance in nutrition, and how we don't necessarily have to not get eat or drink the things that we want, but how can we actually strike a balance between physical exercise and our mental well-being? Because you talked about the 75 hard, and or you talk about how it's 80% mental. So how can we, make the connection between the two?
What I would suggest is starting a routine. Even if you don't have any physical experience, like I said before, um, you can join a community or a gym and ask for help that way. I would also say surround yourself with like a good support system. That way you have that accountability, because at the beginning, like, it is mental, like you have to get there. Like before you can do the
Right.
physical, like you have to get there. Like you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you can actually accomplish something. And just like giving yourself grace. Like a lot of people, they go gung ho like right away, and then they slack off because they got unmotivated and discouraged because they weren't seeing the results. That mental is like so important. Like I remember my mom told me to write things that I want every single day. put it on my mirror, say it every single day. Like that is like words are powerful. Like what you say to yourself is very powerful. So you can't even step foot inside of a gym or in someone's establishment and you don't have that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even if you're not 100% confident in yourself, fake it till you make it. Like you're going to get there eventually. Like I said, day by day, track every single day. All right, I did it on day one. I could do it day two. Oh my gosh, I did it 2 days in a row. Now I can do it 3 days in a row. And if you slack off, like you can get right back on. Um, so in order to find that balance, I have hit many mental roadblocks in exercising, even though I have done this for years. There's days where I'm like, you know what, I'm just not feeling it. And it's not because I lack discipline. I give myself grace for that. It's not because I don't want to do it. It's because I mentally cannot do it. And if I mentally can't do it, and I walk into that gym and I pick up some weight and it drops on my foot, now I just held myself not back mentally, but also physically. So you have to know, you know your body and you know yourself more than anybody. You know what levels you can push yourself to. You know when enough is enough. And then you know when you're just being lazy. And you have to distinguish the two. All right, like, am I being lazy or do I really need a mental break? And then sometimes going into the gym when you don't want to is that mental breakthrough that you need. Like there's a lot of days where I wake up and I'm like, man, I really just don't want to do it today. And I walk in, I'm like, I'm glad I'm here. And because it just relieves like a lot of stress, like it lowers our cortisol levels, which is our stress hormones. And then also it boosts our energy, like gives us a lot more energy to get through the day. Sometimes I'm like, man, I need some caffeine right now. I'm like, you know what? Actually, no, I don't. Let me go work out. It'll give me like extra 2 or 3 hours to get through the day. So just finding that balance is genuinely, like we talked about before, like, you know your body. You just have to find that secret sauce, like where you fit in between trial and error. Like you have to stay consistent and just play around with a bunch of different things. But mental comes first. I don't want y'all going into the gym and being like, I'm finna fight through this mental block. But because you know yourself more than anybody. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
It's crazy. Mental something else. The mind is something else. It plays all kinds of tricks on us. Someone says, when I don't feel it mentally, I go to the fitness center anyway and do something for at least 45 minutes. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Kudos.
Yeah, kudos to you. Someone says, "Man, I be walking and now my breath is gone. Help!" I have what you got to say? How can we control what we don't want to lose?
That's the thing. You can't. Like a lot of people, they come up to me and they be like, so you gonna help me lose this stomach? And I'm like, listen, here's the thing. We can't pick and choose where we want to lose weight, where we want to lose fat, because everybody's different for one. Like if I could be like, all right, be gone. Like if it could be that easy, like everybody would be doing it. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to find, like I said, find what works for us, and our body's just gonna adjust to it, and we have to adjust our bodies because what we do every day, sometimes like a couple of years down the road, it may not even work anymore. So we're constantly evolving, constantly changing, and we have to change with it. That's why I said it's a lifestyle. Like it's not just like some quick fix. Some people, they lose weight in their breasts first. Some people lose weight in their stomach first. Because that's probably where you gained it first. So your boobs may have been bigger because you had gained like extra weight, extra fat, and you lost that. So that's just where it's coming from. So it's not necessarily always a bad thing, but that's just how our body works, man. I can't tell you why. Only God knows.
Yeah, it's so funny because I mean I shouldn't say it's not funny, but you did mention how much nutrition plays,
Mhm.
into our fitness and our bodies. So I wonder if sometimes just us changing the way we're eating can impact our body, in
Oh, for
certain areas. Uh, especially sugar. I mean, because I know it goes straight to my stomach.
sure.
When I'm eating them cookies, and it's just been Halloween, so the boys had all this candy and stuff. So it's just good that I can't drink alcohol because uh, I probably would never lose no kind of weight. All the sugar that I have. Now, I don't know what this drink is, but she says, what's your opinion on
Kombucha.
kombucha drinks?
Yeah, so it's like a healthy drink that they serve in stores and things of that nature. I personally, I've tried them. I don't really care for them. Don't really like them. Haven't done my research on them. I didn't really care to know too much about it, to be honest with you. But I would always suggest. I tell everybody this: look at the label first, like what's in it, because like I said before, Coke Zero, they put zero sugar, 0 calories, whatever. But is it truly that? Because you know that small writing at the bottom, like at the very very bottom, they don't want you to see. Words are hard.
I don't never
Guess what?
see it. I hadn't seen it.
You don't see it. And guess what? Your body does. So you have to do your research. You gotta do your research to know what those ingredients are. I remember when I first started tracking my food about a year and a half ago when I did 75 hard because I'd never done it before. I would Google some of the things that didn't make sense. I would Google, what does this word mean? And I would do my research on it and I would dig and dig and dig, and I'd be like, all right, that makes sense. I also started listening to different podcasts, see what they had to say about different, like, that's when all that stuff about like plant based and like vegan stuff started popping up because our bodies, they digest things so differently than from person to person. So you just, like I said, you just gotta do your research. Everybody's different. Doesn't make it good or bad. And like I said, you can enjoy something every now and then, but just be sure don't indulge in it.
Yeah, and I think that's our problem. We just go to the extreme, especially around the holidays, because those are foods that we normally don't eat throughout the year. So it's like, oh my God, I'm special like that about pound cake and sweet potato pie. So I'm like, when I see one, I'm like, ooh, 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 you know. And then we eat these items as if they're just not gonna go. I mean, we're never gonna see them again.
Because I don't know what it is about that time of year, but I feel like everybody just put they foot in it, like they best
Yes, it's so much
on
better.
that day.
Yes, it's so much better. So right now, so we just need to get our mind right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how much we're gonna watch our portions
Mm-hmm. Watch
during
out
the
for.
holidays.
So chitlins are out. Oh Lord, look, even if they was
Oh,
healthy, they'd be out.
now I know I did not cook chitterlings, whatever they call them.
Chitterlings.
Mama did not. So I don't know if you know anything about chitlins.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
All I know is that that's something that derived from from slavery. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
And they need to stay
anything
there.
is I don't want to we've been redeemed. So let's let, let,
Oh,
let's come out of that. Yeah, they
and
do
don't
stink.
y'all put no hot sauce on it either.
Well, everybody, you know how we can't not do hot sauce.
No, make it
We got to
smell
put hot
worse.
sauce on everything.
Don't even. Mm-mm.
Oh goodness. Okay, when we were talking about excuse me. Now I know y'all are doing really good with asking questions. Continue to ask questions as we're going along um, in this discussion on physical wellness and also if you all have not become a member of the Teach Me Tribe, please get on board if you're not already. This is our last featured event for the year. So, and it's just an honor the fact that my daughter was able to do this, and especially with the holidays coming up, and to give you all some tools that you all can use to be empowered going into the new year. So, with that being said, I wanted to ask you, what are some strategies that you found that have worked for staying motivated and consistent on the path to physical wellness?
I would say documenting everything. Um, Throw the scale away. Not literally. I mean, you can use it sometimes, but I think a lot of us become so obsessed, especially when we're trying to lose weight, on the weight, the number, the scale. And that's what's going to discourage you because you're not seeing what you want to see. When there's a lot of other results that come along with losing the weight or staying fit or whatnot. Um, I have a scale myself, and I've probably gotten on it maybe 5 times this year, just because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. I mean, it matters, yeah, but there's a lot of so. For example, there's you got body fat to take in count of that weight. You have water weight, you have muscle mass, and like just all these other things, like your bone density that are weight technically. I really like to tell people to focus on your body fat percentage because you want that down because that's what's going to keep you healthy and that's what's going to keep those like stress levels and all that down. Because you want to lose that unwanted fat that's being stored into your body. How do your clothes fit? Like I always tell people, like, are there a pair of old jeans that you always wanted to fit back into, or a pair of old jeans that you don't ever want to fit into again? Like measure your progress by that. I love taking pictures. Like I love taking pictures. um, I would say probably start taking pictures once a week. Like track your progress that way. Like you may not be losing some here, but you might start losing some here. Like I said before, like we can't choose when and where we start to lose weight or fat or any of those things. But if you track those things and journal them and just continue to track your progress, like you're gonna see like things are starting to change. But I'm really big on tracking like your progress with pictures and clothes. A lot of women, they lose inches first. Like they may not even lose weight. Like your jeans may fit a little bit looser in a couple of weeks than they did the 2 weeks prior to. And then also, I would just I want to say that this is where like the dietitian nutritionist come in with, but you can also do it yourself. But I would start with portion sizes first because this could get really complicated. But it's really simple. What I like to do is track my food. I don't do it anymore because I did it for so long that I can do what they call intuitive eating, is where I can look at my food and be like, all right, this is enough or this is not enough. So what I did was I tracked my calories. So your calories are consistent of carbs, fats, and proteins. All right, all the three things that we need for our body to function. When you track those things, it's going to help you kind of like a guide to not under or overeat what you consume into your body. So that's kind of what I would say, and that would help you to stay consistent because you're doing it constantly. So yeah, those are just a few quick, simple ways that you can start staying consistent and keeping track to help you motivate you. I would say pictures rather motivate me the most because I'm like, dang, all right, okay, now we got to keep going.
Right. Yeah. I know it motivates me seeing what I look like when I was heavier compared to what I look like, now. Seeing the like, okay, because mine is in my face
Mm-hmm.
when I start losing weight or when I start gaining weight. So to be able to see myself in pictures when I'm heavier versus um, thinner is definitely a motivation for me.
And look at them all the time. Like look at them all the time. Like let that be your motivation. Be like, you know what? I really don't want to go back to what that person used to be. You know.
Yeah.
So
I don't like shopping either. So I like to be a certain weight so I can just get close. Now, this person on Facebook said I had to employ a physical trainer so that I would be accountable to someone, but also that makes me get out of the recliner and gets my body moving.
good for you. Good for
Yeah,
you.
good job.
That's really good. And that's kind of piggybacking off of that. What I was saying earlier is get you a support system, like somebody who's going to motivate you. Someone's going to hold you accountable. And with that, like, remember I said before, you got to believe in yourself first. So they can hold you accountable. And what do they say? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You
Mm-hmm.
also have to hold yourself accountable too. because your trainer's not always going to be there. I'm not saying this person is, but I'm just saying in general, to
Right.
be there and being like, you shouldn't have that cookie right there, but you know that you shouldn't have it. So when you go back
Right.
to your trainer and they're like, what's up? Like, you say you've been doing this, you've been doing that, like, and then you're like, I don't know why I'm not saying it, but you know good and well you had a whole pack of cookies last night. You know
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's good to have a support system, but you also have to be your own support a little bit. And I know that sounds weird to say, but like you are you, like you know yourself better than anybody. So so yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because I know you've had clients before in the past where they were like, okay, I don't understand. And you were saying, I don't understand why they're not losing weight. And you pretty much racked your brain to try to figure, okay, what is it? Because I mean, you can't be there every day, all day. It's only an hour in whatever time span that you all are together where you actually see them. So for us to be accountable to ourselves is really essential to physical wellness. You know, we can have our support system, but we're ultimately responsible for the results.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Someone says, since I've been working out with weights, I've gained weight but lost inches and feel so good. Hmm.
Oh, I could talk about that all day.
Go
So
ahead.
so here's the thing, a lot of people, they fear lifting, especially women, because they have this fear of, oh, I don't want to look too muscular, or I don't want to get too big. Let me tell you, it takes years of hard work, consistency, and lifting heavy every single day in order for you to look like that. You have to put your health first. I always tell people strength training, so that's lifting weights, and cardio are great combinations because you're going to lose fat and weight doing that. Like, you want, like when I was saying my body fat percentage, that's something that you want to track as well. Strength training is going to help you do that because it's going to lean out your muscles. Like this person saying they worked out with weights and they've gained weight. They're probably gaining muscle and they're probably losing fat. So that's probably good weight that they're losing, but they're losing
Mhm,
fat in turn, and they're probably a little bit leaner. And they,
mhm,
because they said they lost inches, yeah, they lost inches and
mhm.
they feel good. So you have to implement those things. You kind of have to get past that. Oh, I don't want to look this way. I don't want to be this way, and just do things that are going to be better for your overall health. So that's good right there. I like that.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned how we have to look more so at our body fat percentage
Mm-hmm.
and how our weight, it actually um, it encompasses all kinds of things, not just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one thing that's kind of a misconception too in wellness, physical wellness. What are some other common misconceptions about physical wellness that you think people should be aware of?
Um, that a great workout equals being sore. Like, a lot of people, they're like, I start very small. I'm very traditional, very like basic when it comes to training because I'm thinking about longevity. I'm not thinking about how hard I could put you through a workout, because there's a difference between working out and then training. Like, training is something like longevity, like something that we want to build upon, like building that foundation. Working out is, I got a good sweat in. All right, now I can go to bed, eat something good. Like, but there's no benefit out of it. So I think the misconception with that is you may be sore some days, which is fine because you're activating muscles that you probably haven't in a really long time, or muscles that you have never before. So, like, being sore is not a bad thing, but you don't want to go in saying, hey, like, I need to get as sore as I can, because you're just putting, like, when we are sore, it's called DOM. So we're putting our body under stress. And you don't want to put your body under so much stress constantly, because your body is going to, what I want to say, like, betray you. So you're not going to get enough rest. Your body's not going to recover. You're going to have inflammation, and then you're going to not see results. So you really want, that's why we go back with the balance. Like, you need to have balance in that. Um, and that misconception is just like, and just piggyback off of the whole like women not wanting to lift weights thing. I think that's another common misconception for sure. Like, girl, if you don't pick up that weight, if you don't show, like, don't you want to be strong? And I say that because like you do it every single day. Like you go to the
Yeah.
grocery store and you, as such an independent woman, you try to carry all the bags in yourself. You don't know how much that weigh. You probably carrying 50 pounds each arm, don't even know it. But you ain't gonna pick up one 50-pound dumbbell in the weight room.
That's true. And then we'll carry our children until they about 15. It would just be just as happy.
Muscle
Yeah.
weight is more than fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to start a group, real women lift weights. And I mean, I guess as I think about it too, um, as we get older, we're losing um what was it flexibility and muscle mass. So it's
Mobility.
so yeah, so it's so important for us um to build that while we're young.
Yeah,
Can you
so
talk more about that?
yeah, so our bodies naturally deteriorate the older that we get. Um, like your joints are going to become weaker, but they don't have to become. But if you're not active, they will. So we have to continue to move. I like to tell people if there's stairs available, take them. Like a lot of people, they run from the stairs because there's an elevator available. That could be your extra steps in, but also it's a movement. Like you're stepping up, like you're using your core, you're using your quad muscles, you're activating muscles, you're waking them up, you're keeping them moving. A lot of people, if you avoid steps, like the older you get, your knee ain't gonna bend no more. So you have to
Mm,
continue to do the things that you've been doing in order to continue to do the things that you want to do when you're older. So it's just really important to prevent those things or at least prolong the process of it not happening. I mean, because that all depends on genetics, and just like the things that probably will eventually come that we have no control over. But you have to be in control of the things that you can control. So staying active and staying moving, staying mobile. And when I mean mobile, like doing the things like the foundational movements that um, you build upon when you first start to stay stable and to stay mobile. And examples of that, so I could just piggyback off of it. That's like squatting. We do that every single day. We use the restroom. We sit on the couch. We sit at our desk. We squat every single day. But how far are you getting down into that squat? How strong are you when you get up? Like, is it really a struggle for you to get up? You probably need to do squats more. Hinging movements, that also goes with being like sitting on the toilet. Pull and press. So that's like pressing overhead, pressing forward. When I'm closing my car door shut, when I'm opening up a door going into the store, ouch, my shoulder hurts. Why does your shoulder hurt? You probably
mm,
aren't activating it enough. Or it's probably just weak. More than likely, it's just weak. We're not doing anything with those. So those are pretty much the four foundation moves I always program for clients because you use it in your every single day life. You're squatting down, you're picking up your kid, you're squatting down, picking up your grandkid. Like I tell older people all the time, like, don't you want to play with your grandkids? Like, don't you want to go kick the soccer ball out with them? Or do you just want to sit on the front porch and drink your sweet tea? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't you want to be active in those lives, in their lives? So we have to do the little things that we do every day anyway, outside
mhm.
of our day to day, inside the gym. That way we're always strong in it and we don't ever have a problem doing it the older we get.
Yeah. Now, are there times where, um, let's say I can't go to the gym?
Hmm.
Are there some exercises that we can do at home? And how often do we need to do these exercises? And I'm thinking of, because it seems like it's easier for younger people, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like it's easier for younger people to go out in the gym and work out and all this, that, and the other. But the older you get, you have all these kids, you got all these responsibilities. It's like it's just no time to go to the gym. So is it like some things that we can do at home to encourage that mobility?
There are. but I'm gonna call y'all out for a second because
Don't call us out now. See, that's the coach coming out. That's the coach.
so I'm in group fitness currently, and I work at two different gyms, and probably half, if not more, of our clients are older people, um, and they have kids, they have children, they got life going. But then that's where that discipline comes in and making time for those things. Like, I know you got between 30 and 60 minutes to get something done, even if you got to rush to do it, because at the end of the day, like, it's your health that's at stake. Like, you have to make that time. I work from 4:30 a.m. to 7 at night, and sometimes there's very, very little time to work out, but I knew that I had to fit it into my schedule because, like, I've worked too hard to stop, and if I stop, it's going to be really hard to get it back. And just the long term success of it, like, you have to show up for yourself, so you have to implement that time. If you don't have time, like, genuinely don't have time, there are plenty of workouts on YouTube that I like to go by sometimes, just for a quick workout. But I'm not gonna do it every single day. Like, it's just a supplement. Like, it's like an accessory. Like, you sprinkle it on top of whatever you're doing currently. And those things should always consider, or they should always have something with a squat, something with a hinge, something to activate the core, a push and press movement, just what I was saying earlier, or a pull movement. Things that you do every single day, something with bands so that you have some kind of resistance. If you don't have weights, you can go to the store and get like 2 gallons of water and use that as weights, or you can take a backpack and you can just load it with books, put it on your back, do it while you're squatting. You can take a chair at home, like a kitchen table chair, and you can do tricep dips. There's just so many things that you can be versatile with at home, that you have at home, that you can just implement, if you don't have time.
Yeah, it looks like you speaking to the audience, because KD mentioned that she's gonna take steps tomorrow, slow, but she's gonna do it. So good for you, KD. Yeah, she's definitely given some real practical things, and really giving us no excuses to really get active, get mobile, because we do want to live the best, happy, the strongest life possible, the most healthy life possible, especially the older we're getting. And I think as we get older, we think more about, being healthy and doing those things. But sometimes I think, and I guess I'll just speak for myself, but once you get to a certain age, it's like, oh my goodness, I should have been doing this years ago, and maybe I would be better off now, But I do like the fact that you've mentioned, hey, you just need to do it, just start moving. So no matter where you are in your journey, you can still get moving. You can take those small steps. Um, Looks like Katie said, yes, because it's my biggest struggle is getting back into it since pregnancy and childbirth.
I
Yeah.
see that a lot. Yeah, like we've been saying since the beginning of this thing, is you just have to start with day one. Like, you just have to start small. Maybe you're not getting a whole bunch of steps in, but you probably got in more than you did the day before. Maybe you're not drinking a gallon of water, but can you drink half of that 64 ounce? If you can't drink that, drink half of that. Like, start small and then progress your way. No one's ever going to start out perfectly. No one's ever going to start out where they want to be or where they need to be, but you take those steps and they become bigger steps. And then, like I said before, like, it just snowball. Like, it just snowballs in, and you're just racking and racking and racking. Um, and you can do it. Like I said before, just believe in yourself, believe you can do it, get a support system, that's going to rally behind you, and just like be the best that you can be.
Yeah. I love that. Um, and I guess one last thing I'll probably ask is, And I think you kind of talked about the things that we can do at home. You mentioned the hinges, which I don't know what that is.
Sorry, I got to break that down. What do you have to say?
You're using some fitness jargon, but okay. So just give a simple. Okay, you mentioned bands, but like
Have resistance.
some of us who are not in this world, give us some simple like exercises or stretches. Because if we haven't been moving, we might need to do some stretches. That we could actually incorporate in our daily living that can actually improve our overall physical well-being.
Yeah, so I would say start with walking first. Get some cardio, get those lungs pumping, build up your endurance, because that's going to be one big thing that a lot of people struggle with when they start working out. And then squatting, we can all squat. Start with a chair or a bench, stand up, sit back down, and try to control it on the way down and try to control it on the way up. With that, you want to engage your core. I know that is very hard to do, but you just want to think about breathing in and breathing out. That takes practice. I actually just learned that a couple of years ago. So if you don't know how to engage your core, that's completely okay. But that's just something that you want to think about when you are doing that, just breathing. Because a lot of people, believe it or not, as easy as it is and second nature as it is, when we start working out and getting uncomfortable, it's very hard to breathe. And people just magically forget. Hinging is a movement where your hips are going horizontally back and forth. So that could be a deadlift. So that's too complicated. It could be a good morning. So I'm like hinging my hips back. I'm hinging them forward to stand up. It's almost like I'm bowing down and then I'm coming back up. So that would be like a good morning. Or you could do a glute bridge. So I'd be lying on the floor. My back is flat to the ground. My knees are at a 90-degree angle. I throw my hips up to the sky, squeeze my glutes, and then I come back down. So it's kind of like I'm thrusting up, thrusting back down. That's very simple for people to start with. These are just going to activate the muscles that need to fire up before you actually really do something. And I would say maybe like a pull would be a row. So a row would be like kind of cranking a lawnmower, like something that we do all the time. We open doors, we pull doors open, we press them back. Cranking up a lawnmower, being in your yard, shoveling. So I would consider that, yeah, you could do a row for that. A pressing movement would be a push-up. Another row or another pull could be a pull-up. That is it. My brain wasn't working. You can do a pull-up. You can do a pull-up. Pressing move would be a push-up. So I'm just on the ground, progressively start. A lot of people, I would suggest starting on a chair or a bench. That way you don't start on the floor, because it's far less of a distance than it is to get to the floor, or even a wall, or just pressing away from the wall, coming back, nice and control. Like you want to control your body. You don't want it to plummet. So push-ups, squats, glute bridges, pull-ups. If you don't have a pull-up, you can always have a band. Amazon is your best friend, believe it or not. You can get a band, put it on a bar, or hook it to a door, and you can just pull it towards yourself. That's a good row movement. So probably suggest that. Anything else you want me to touch on based off of exercises?
I mean, I like that. And that, as you were talking, I was like, you know what? There might be some more experienced people that are listening. They're like, oh, I know all that. I mean, I've mastered, all that regular stuff. I've been doing that for years. What is it that someone that's like you that has, just has this down packed? What is it that you would tell them, in their regular routine of staying healthy and strong?
So,
And
so most people who I guess would say, quote unquote, fall off the wagon, they have experience, but they haven't been in it for a while. I would always say start small, and then work your way up. I have a lot of athletes that used to come to me about things, and they're like, "This is so boring. Like, why are we starting so slow? Like, I don't feel like I'm getting a good workout in. It's because you haven't activated those muscles in a really long time and they need like some wakening up to do. You go straight in and you start doing stuff, you're going to hurt yourself. So we got to fire those muscles back up, get them working again, get them used to moving that way again. A lot of foundation movements that I start them with is squatting, back squat, deadlifts, rowing, and bench press. Those are your 4 foundational movements. Those are movements that I rotate throughout my workouts every single day because it's a foundation. The only thing that changes is my weight, my reps, and my sets. Those are the key things. You can't get it wrong. I'm very basic. I'm very traditional. I don't try to throw anything crazy. I'm not hopping up on bars and pulling them and swinging and trying to do all these different things to get a good workout in. I just want to be strong and healthy, and I'm doing that because at the end of the day, when I get probably 60, 70 years old, I ain't going to be swinging on some bars and throwing my body around to look cool in a gym. I'm just not. But just doing those foundational movements of a squat and deadlifts and a bench press in a row, like I can do that until probably the day that I die. Like I said, the only thing that's going to change is the weight, the sets, the reps.
Wow. And I guess that's why you see, people in their 70s, 80s, 90s, still looking strong.
Mm-hmm.
They're able to, whether it's run marathons or walk 5Ks, but they're looking strong because they have continued this routine, this daily routine, and this daily habit of um, of just physical wellness and wanting to be stronger as they're getting older and feel good. Yeah, someone mentioned breathing techniques. Yeah, you had mentioned that earlier about breathing techniques. Well, I definitely appreciate. I've enjoyed our time. Now, if anyone has any other questions before we go, but I definitely enjoyed our time. Can you think of anything that we did not cover that you want to share with everyone in regards to physical wellness?
No, I mean, I think we covered a big, good chunk of things. This first time 6 a.m. I'm doing squats, deadlifts, etc. because I'm committed to putting in the work. Right on. I love that because anybody can do it. Sorry, I got off track. No, I mean, we pretty much, I feel like covered just without getting into too much deepness and making it overcomplicated. I think with the comments and questions that we received, we pretty much hit the basis of like getting started or just like getting back into it. Um, to get yeah, for sure. I agree.
Yeah, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. But that's awesome. The 68-year-old that's that's still doing it. So that's testament of what is it that we need to be doing on a regular basis as we're getting older. Um, and it sounds like everyone that has come on, they really gained a lot from this discussion, whether or not they are where they want to be or not. And I definitely appreciate everyone for joining. I appreciate your time tonight, my baby. Uh, you've reminded me of some things as well, and I definitely appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me. Thanks everybody for showing up and being interactive. I really appreciate it. I hope y'all got at least a little sum out of it, if not anything, because I enjoyed it for sure.
Yes, somebody said thank you, little cousin. I'm not sure who that is, but they say it's hard to know what the Facebook users are, but everybody's saying thank you. Now let everybody know, just in case there's people that are watching that just want to get in touch with you, know how to follow you?
Yeah, so I'm not big on all the social medias, but I do have Instagram. I'm pretty active on it. I usually post fitness videos or tips or just anything that I think could be helpful. And that is D as in Denise, four, the number four, and then fit, FIT. Um, and then I have Facebook, Denise Newton. Not too active on it. I try to be, but mainly the Instagram is where you can find me for sure.
Okay. Yeah, you be posting all your workout videos and stuff. So I tell you, if y'all want to see something, y'all need to follow her on Instagram.
No, she
She be
tried.
going in, y'all. She be
No,
going in.
no.
Well, I definitely appreciate you. I appreciate everyone again, and until next time, we our next event for the tribe will be Q&A with Treve on the third Monday. So I definitely look forward to seeing you all there. And until then, y'all have a good night.
Thank y'all.